Trump derangement syndrome is real. Well, if you take a look at this headline, looks like some of them even want to take Trump to the Hague for crimes against humanity. Hi, this is Michael Sabat, and thank you for joining me on my channel. This is where we explore today's current events and today's headlines, and we'll see what's going on in people's minds. So let's go on, and let's come back here to what's going on in Ohio. This is from Tavia Golonsky. Apparently she wants to take Trump to the Hague for crimes against humanity. Ohio State Rep. Tavia Golonsky said she wants President Trump to be prosecuted in the Hague for crimes against humanity over his promotion of the anti-malarial drug hydroxychloroquine as a treatment for coronavirus. "I can't take it anymore," said Mrs. Golonsky, a Democrat, tweeted Sunday night after Mr. Trump's coronavirus task force briefing. "I've been to The Hague," she continued. "I'm making a referral for crimes against humanity tomorrow. Today's press conference was the last straw. I know the need for prosecution referral when I see one." All right, here we go. So we were talking about hydroxychloroquine, and I've spoken about this in my previous video, how right now a lot of doctors are talking about treating their patients with a mixture of hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, and zinc to treat them right now with the COVID-19 disease. But how do you prosecute someone? It's so over the top ridiculous. How do you prosecute someone for talking about what scientists and physicians are talking about? 2 studies have already been made from France, and this is what they were referring to when talking about the hydroxychloroquine treatment, is that 2 studies have made in France, and they're very successful. They've had a very successful treatment in France. About 99% of their patients have been treated with hydroxychloroquine, and they got them, granted they got these patients early, but they treated them and they had a good outcome. Relatively, it's safe. Even Dr. Oz mentioned it's safe. But a lot of these people are just swimming around in fake news and Trump derangement syndrome, this TDS, and they even blame Trump for this couple in Arizona for drinking fish tank cleaner, which was chloroquine phosphate. It's totally different. There are idiots out there, and yet they still blame the president. But let's go back. Mr. Trump on Sunday continued hydroxychloroquine as a treatment for COVID-19, despite its lack of food and drug FDA approval, saying people who are already dying have nothing to lose taking the drug. Others have cautioned against taking the drug because its effectiveness of the virus is still unknown. According to the UN International Criminal Court, the Choppers The Hague defines crimes against humanity as including murder, extermination, enslavement, persecution, apartheid, torture, other inhumane acts of similar character intentionally causing great suffering or serious and bodily and mental injury. Really, Ms. Golonsky, this is a rep, a leader in your state, and she is advocating for criminal referral to the president for talking about a treatment that is being debated by scientists. That is utterly ridiculous. On the flip side, not all Democrats are that bad. A Detroit state rep said hydroxychloroquine and President Trump helped save her life amid the COVID-19 fight. And this is in Lansing, Michigan. A Democratic state rep from Detroit is crediting hydroxychloroquine and Republican President Donald Trump, who touted the drug for saving her in her battle with coronavirus. State Representative Kate Whitsett, who learned Monday she has tested positive for COVID-19, said she started taking hydroxychloroquine on March 31st, prescribed by her doctor, and after both she and her husband sought treatment for rage symptoms on March 18th. It was less than 2 hours before she started to feel relief, said Whitsett, who had experienced shortness of breath, swollen lymph nodes, and felt like a sinus infection. She said she is still experiencing headaches, she said. Whitsett said she is familiar with the wonders of hydroxychloroquine from an earlier bout with Lyme disease, but does not believe that she would have thought to ask for it or her doctor would prescribe it had Trump not been touting the possible treatment. Trump at his daily coronavirus briefings has repeatedly touted the drug in combination with the antibiotic azithromycin, despite criticism from health professionals that it is unproven and potentially dangerous. There have also been complaints that Trump's remarks have resulted in shortage for the drug for those people who normally use it for its recommended purposes. All right. Now, you have to how some of these health professionals think is that they want efficacy, which is fine. They want to make sure that everything is safe before it goes out to the public. So they go through these phase trials in the FDA and the Food and Drug Administration. Sometimes these trials take a long time. It takes years to go from one phase to another. Do you think that some of these people have time for that? Especially with COVID-19, its effects, its symptoms start to hit you so quick. Within 2 weeks, within two to 3 weeks, you'll start hitting symptoms, and it hits you so fast and hard. I believe the compassionate use program that President Trump has signed, I think this is warranted if they need it. Now, there's been criticism that there may be some shortage, especially to those who have lupus, but I believe that we have more than enough doses for hydroxychloroquine or Plaquenil to be able to account for that and be able to treat the lupus patients. But I found a praise for President Trump and actually a defender of President Trump for somebody I didn't expect, and somebody actually I do give credit for helping turn around the coronavirus ravaging state, and that is Governor Newsom of California. Look here, Gavin Newsom pushes back on Joy Behar's suggestion that he has to feed Trump's ego for coronavirus help. Actually, a pretty fascinating exchange right here, because he defended President Trump after Joy Behar suggested that he had to feed Trump's ego. It says here, lately you've been praising him for help he's giving you. Well, of course, because look how he treats governors who don't kiss the ring. The governor of Michigan, he said they were not appreciative and told Mike Pence, don't call him back. Do you feel like you have to feed this guy's ego to get respirators or get PPEs? Is that what's going on? And Newsom acknowledged his state has sued the administration a dozen times, and they have done it many times. Our relationship began earlier than most, and so from that perspective, all I can say is from my perspective, the relationship has been strong. And I'm not going to kiss the ring. I'm not going to do that. I've just been very forthright with the president. He returned his calls. He was just out. He's been very proactive. We got the emergency ship down in Los Angeles. That was directly because he sent it down there. 2,000 medical units came to California, these field medical stations, and that's been very, very helpful. Now, that's a very nice thing for a Democratic governor from California, of all people, to say. And it says a lot about what's going on in the background that's not really being reported. A lot of these people, especially actors, a lot of people that come with this preconceived notion now that anything that Trump does, anything he does is bad. There's a joke around that if Trump cured cancer for one day, the media and all these celebrities in Hollywood would come with pitchforks saying that he didn't cure it fast enough. It's ridiculous the way they act around him. But nobody's getting fooled anymore. People see through that, and I believe that Gavin Newsom is seeing a little bit of light. Now, he still may not agree with everything the president says, and I still don't like some of his policies, what he does for California. But I do give him credit for this, and I do give him credit for preparing, after seeing what happened in Washington, Oregon, preparing California and flying the curve there somewhat. But that's not the only thing that's going on right now. There's been some ins and out going up in Hollywood, especially with Alyssa Milano endorsing Joe Biden. My video yesterday, I talked about how Bernie Sanders has pretty much spent his campaign, and now Joe Biden is the presidential nominee. Well, Alyssa Milano had endorsed Joe Biden, and apparently she's now getting attacked by Trump and Bernie supporters, and she hates Trump so much. You can't tell the difference between Trump supporters and Bernie supporters from my replies right now. Cancel culture doesn't scare me. People have been trying to cancel me since the 80s. Keep showing your true colors. I'll be right here, where I've always been, fighting for you. Now, the Now, the criticism of Alyssa Milano is not so much that she endorses Joe Biden. Well, it is, but because she puts herself as the head of the Me Too movement. And a lot of people took that a very, very wrong way because a lot of people look at all these allegations, these recent allegations from with Joe Biden harassing this woman. I'm going to give you a little response here from one of her former coworkers from Charm, and Alyssa Milano was a star in Charm. I thought this was really telling.
Former Charmed co-star Alyssa Milano gets a lot of credit for helping Me Too go viral.
So,
Are you proud of her?
I don't like her
Why?
because I think she's a lie.
Why?
Do you think I don't know these people? I'm not looking at this from the outside. I have a lot of experience. I know she's married to a CIA agent. Do the math. Who's behind?
Now, that was one of her co-stars from Charm. Now, I don't watch Charm, so I don't know who that was. I know it was one of the three main witches in that show, and she just burned Alyssa Milano right there as being a, and you could tell like ever since this whole COVID-19 issue started, is that a lot of these actors and celebrities been stuck in their homes, and a lot of them with Trump derangement syndrome just have nothing else to do. And so what do they do? They start YouTube channels, start trying to get some attention by other means. A lot of times they suck, and they have to compete with these YouTube guys, and they really can't. I mean, my channel is not, it's still improving and still started, but man, some of these guys, I really gotta say. And I want to show you something I read recently. This is from Ancient Romans. It's a blog about the life in ancient Rome, particularly right after the Republic and the Empire. This is actually a very fascinating blog. They talk about lifestyles of Rome and the philosophy of Rome. I'm fascinated by history. But here, it says here, actors are the lowest social class in ancient Rome. Just going to read the first paragraph here. Unlike the progressive modern world where one can become society and idolized by mindless plebs simply by the merit of being a famous actor, the ancient Romans had the exact opposite stance. Actors in the Roman world were considered the lowest of low, being on roughly the same social status as slaves. The Romans had a low opinion of actors, should not come up as a surprise, as actors by definition act. In a society where merit, personal accomplishments, and pursuit of civic virtue were a high regard, it is thus understandable that they were frowned upon. Now, that is not to say that Romans did not enjoy art and culture, but they really did. They really did. I mean, you just look at their paintings. If you go to Rome, look at the pictures. If you just go to the museums, those were some of the most beautiful art that you could ever see. But actors, yeah, they're not exactly the moral compass of society, even by today standards. And anybody who looks to actors to guide them and point them in the direction of who they vote, who they follow, yeah, no, they're not. They really are not any better than anybody else. Well, that'll be it for today. Look for my next episode if you just stick to my channel. So please like, comment, and subscribe so you can get a notification of my next content. And please share my content if you like what I have to say. Thank you for joining me.